Senator Torricelli on?
Yes, he is.
Rita, why don't you bring back Senator Torricelli?
All right, we have here on the Rita Cosby Show, as this big news happened, of course, about Robert Menendez, who just did a press conference a couple hours ago saying he's not resigning. Joining us now is the former senator and former congressman from New Jersey, Robert Torricelli. Senator, great to have you on. Your thoughts, by the way, on this big news of what's happened to Senator Menendez.
Well, first, Rita, nice to be with you. And John, nice to hear your voice again. Hope you're well.
Everything's great.
This has been coming for a while. We all knew there was an investigation, and we knew Senator Menendez's proclivity to have these kinds of difficulties. But the scale and the sweep of this, it's really hard to put in any kind of a context. It is not too much to say that in the 250-year history of the United States Congress, there has never been a criminal indictment of a member of Congress of this scale. The amount of money, the depth.
Well, the amount of money is about $400,000. Is that what it is?
Well, there's $500,000 in cash that was taken from his home, and then there were the gold bars, and then a variety of other items. But the money is one thing. I think what has taken people back more was the idea that is charged that he also helped a foreign government, in this case Egypt, for compensation
I understand
against the interests of the United States.
I read the indictment, and in the indictment it said it wasn't confidential information. Maybe it was just a negotiation.
No, it said it was not classified information.
Not classified.
It was confidential information, but not classified. John, a member of the United States Congress should not be passing information of any kind to a foreign government, particularly for compensation.
Yeah.
The information was about the staffing of the U.S. Embassy, that there is some reason for that to remain quiet. Also in the indictment is the claim that he wrote a ghost letter to his colleagues in the Senate on behalf of the Egyptian government. I know there are probably a lot of people at home who are thinking, well, these things happen, but this is the Congress, and they're all bad, and it's all terrible. This does not happen. I've been in Washington for 30 years, and the Congress for 20. No Democrat, no Republican that I ever served with would have engaged in this kind of behavior or anything close to it.
Let me ask you, though, Senator, because what he said today, just in fairness to, of course, Senator Menendez, he came out today and said he's old-fashioned, that this was cash that he was collecting because his family's from Cuba, and he always wanted to kind of have cash on hand because they had to, suddenly scurry out of the country. And his first case had a hung jury actually in his favor. It was 10-2.
But he married one of the jurors.
Right. And is that true? He married one of the jurors.
Yes.
So the juror, all right, he's married to, and apparently the wife was friends with all these Egyptians. And he's got Abby Lowell. That's the other interesting angle here. Abby Lowell, who's the attorney for Hunter Biden, is now Menendez's attorney again. He was the attorney on the first case. Could he say, look, these are gifts from friends. Everybody in Congress does it. That was sort of the defense the first go round.
Look, everybody in Congress doesn't do it. I went through a federal investigation and had to establish every dollar that came into my life and had a letter of exoneration. Every member of Congress does not engage in that kind of behavior. But you do the math. You have a $187,000 salary. How much do you have to withdraw every year from an ATM and put aside to have $500,000 in cash? And that's what was left. I have no idea how much was actually withdrawn. That's a lot of ATM visits for an awful lot of years. It strains credibility. But the indictment also claims that on some of this cash, there was DNA from one of the other co-conspirators who was indicted in the case. I think, give him credit if that's his defense, but I think that's going to be pretty hard to stand up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Torricelli, and thank you for coming on. We tried to get Senator Menendez on. I texted him, and I guess he's not coming on.
Yeah, we're trying because he was talking today. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say. Thank you, Senator.
Senator Torricelli. Thank you. And guys, we got John Samuelson coming on.
In a few minutes.
Should we take an early break?
Well, I just wanted to mention one
Go
thing
ahead,
about what Torricelli said. He mentioned. I mean, look, the senator is innocent till proven guilty. So let the system play out. Let him defend himself, and then we see where we go. I mean, everyone's throwing everything at him right now. From what I've seen, it's not a lot of money that he took. $100,000 in gold and some other stuff. As far as the Egypt,
it's
not a little, but I mean,
it's a lot of money. But it depends if you had a wedding, and somebody gives you a one ounce piece of gold, which is worth $2,000, is that inappropriate?
Also, the fact is that even the Wall Street Journal said that even if all these allegations are true, it may not be a crime unless they can tie it to an actual government act that he performed.
Which is why I brought up that it could be favors from the wife. They're saying, the other thing, John, I want to repeat to what you brought up last week.
Follow something that Craig said before. It's wrong that he did it. I think the question is whether or not it's a crime.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And the other issue is, John, you brought up also the point, too, that this could be, look, he's been very much a thorn in the side of the Biden administration. There's no question. He's been slamming them on Cuba. He's been slamming them on the Iran deal, which we all feel is a bad deal. The $6 billion suddenly going to Iran. I mean, the timing's kind of interesting, John, and it could be an interesting case. What do you make of the fact, Pete, that Abby Lowell, who's the attorney for Hunter Biden, it's just interesting that he's back on the case
Maybe
again.
he has to make a deal with the president himself.
By the way, I was wondering that, John.
You know
me.
A
little too close
You
for
know
comfort.
me.
A little too close for
That's
comfort.
what I'm thinking. It's
Also, on the other hand,
interesting.
Abby Lowell is really an excellent lawyer. I'll give him that. I mean,
He's a great attorney.
He was also involved in Bill Clinton's case originally back in 1998.
Yep.
He was the attorney for Bob Menendez the first time around, and now for Hunter Biden.
So it's the same attorney you used last time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
and it
he
worked.
got off.
Yeah.
By the way, the hung jury, as I brought up, it was a 10-2 in favor of him last time, the hung jury.
And it was after that the judge then dismissed most of the remaining charges.
Let's
and then
take a break right now, and we're going to come back with John Samuelson,